Hey, welcome to Criterion Connection. I'm Joe.
And filling in for Wade today is Scott. This is yet another one of those movies where I heard they were reviewing it and thought to myself, I'd like to get in on that.
Yeah, you're like kind of like an executive producer who just kind of makes the last second changes.
Yeah. Well, the thing is you guys are more into Criterion, obviously. It's in the title for Christ's sake. But,
what? What are you talking
Criterion.
Nope, not ringing a bell.
Oh, you'd love it. It's so good, you might even want to make a YouTube series about it. But every now and then they'll put movies in there that, speak to me. I'm a simple man. I like simple films. Every now and then, do I like to be challenged? You bet your ass I do. But sometimes I just want to have a good time with a fun movie and a good story. And I think this ticks all the boxes. It's funny, it's fun, tells a good story, and it's just overall just a really good movie. And that movie today would have to be The Life of Brian. In my opinion, the last true Monty Python film. And what I mean by that is, so you had, and now for something completely different, which was a film version of sketches from Flying Circus. Yeah. Then you have Monty Python The Holy Grail, which is a full-on movie.
Yep.
An actual cinematic film, with an original story. Well, sort of original story, because it's The Holy Grail, but...
True.
Then you have Life of Brian, and then their last movie would be The Meaning of Life, which, while somewhat connected with some non-sketch stuff, it's essentially a collection of sketches, and now for something completely different.
It's like an anthology movie, kind of like Kentucky Fried Movie.
Yeah, so this is like their last, legitimate, film, a story film.
Even though this is also kind of an adaptation.
Yeah. Except I would say a little more play with the source material.
What are you talking about?
Than they were able to do with
This isn't a direct adaptation?
No. Oh. Surprisingly, yeah, I know. I
read into this movie all wrong.
So, some fun facts about this movie. Mm-hmm. I believe it was John Cleese and Michael Palin were debated on a British talk show about the merits of this movie and the message of this movie, and were completely obliterated by the two members of Monty Python. And if you like to see that, it's online. You can find it. I've seen it at least 3 times. It's a great moment because you really get to see I think the I don't want to say ignorance, but maybe the naivety of the Catholic faith from time to time when it comes to satire and
you get to see how well thought out the Python guys are.
And another fun fact, if you're a Beatles fan, when this movie almost did not get made because they ran out of funds, and George Harrison of the Beatles pretty much paid for the rest of the movie, and it's been said he holds the record for the most expensive movie ticket of all time, which I love. And my favorite thing about this was you think you hear someone like the Beatles, someone like one of the biggest bands in the world, you think they're gonna have this big I like to support the arts and blah blah blah. They asked him straight up, George, why'd you put all this money into the movie? And his answer was simply, I wanted to see the movie. And I was just that's when George Harrison became my favorite Beatle.
And to go from there, what the movie is kind of like a side story. It's framed around biblical stories. So the nativity scene, and later on there's the Sermon on the Mount.
Yeah.
And all this stuff with Jesus, but there's also another baby that was born at this inn on the same night, whose name is Brian.
Who was next door to Jesus.
Yeah.
So it's so someone could easily there's a mix up.
Yeah.
And they accidentally go to Brian.
So, yeah, the wise men go to Brian first, and they give the mother the frankincense, the myrrh, because she's like, what are you doing here? You're like, go away. Why are you here to see a baby? Yeah. They're like, well, we have gifts, frankincense.
Oh, gifts. Come sit, stay.
and then they come back and take him away.
Doesn't she like? Doesn't one of them forget her gifts? She's like, hold on to it, and he just comes back in.
Yeah. Well, they take all the gifts from her hand, and I just love the whole discussion of what myrrh is.
Yeah.
It's a bomb.
What the fuck
it's like, why would
myrrh?
you give a bomb to a baby? It's just a lot of really fun Monty Python humor and jokes in it.
Yeah, they really, like I said, they really play around with, religion, the Bible, and they just do it in such a way where I just don't understand how anyone could, be offended by it. It's not at no point are they shaming or pointing a finger at religion. They're just playing with the idea. It's like they're using religion more as a toy rather than, as something to shame. They're not shaming it at all.
What's great, it's great satire when it's just not mean-spirited.
Exactly.
And that's where this comes in. It's just kind of poking fun at certain things, like how the people that start following Brian, after he does this nonsensical sermon because he's trying to avoid the guards.
Yeah.
And then they start following him and they keep asking him questions and they're like, you didn't finish. And he's like, I am finished. What are you talking about? And then he trips and loses the shoe. And they're like, it means, and it's people interpreting it all weird and just kind of chasing him down.
Don't they say it means we should only have one shoe, and then they all just take their shoes off and throw it?
Well, no, one guy suggests it's because they're all supposed to have one shoe, and then the other guy says, no, I'm supposed to collect the abundance of shoes. And all this other craziness.
Yeah.
And they keep following him, and they keep misinterpreting his messages. It's just interesting kind of playing on, there's so many different kind of divisions within a particular religion that people arguing over small differences, and it's kind of pointing that out and just kind of poking fun at it.
Yeah, and I mean classic scenes too, the stoning.
Yeah,
is always up there with the little guy, all because he said Jehovah. And apparently in this world, the only people who go to stonings are bored women who have nothing better to do.
And they put on fake beards because they're not allowed at the stonings.
Yeah. And every time someone says Jehovah, they get a rock thrown at them.
I just love she said, he said Jehovah.
I just love at the very end of it when he's telling everybody, it's all right, we're not throwing any stones until I blow this whistle. And even if they do say Jehovah, and as soon as he says that, they start hitting with stones. All of a sudden, they whip out this big rock and just drop it on the guy.
Yeah.
There's that. There's
Pontius Pilate.
And
Biggest Dickus.
Biggest Dickus.
Yeah, it's just goofy names.
And when they're going back to when you mentioned the Sermon on the Mount, when they're all because they're so far back, they can't quite hear what's going on, so they're trying to pick up what's happening. And that one guy is picking a fight with the other guy
because they're trying to figure out.
Yeah, I swear to God, I'll knock your block off if you call me Big Nose one more time.
And I just like the person who mishears what Jesus said. Oh wow, blessed are the Greeks. They're supposed to inherit the earth.
No, I believe he said the meek. Oh, good for them. They've gone through so much.
Yeah, it's just real fun kind of jokes.
Yeah.
And humor.
I really love the scene where Brian, he's trying to paint. I think it's supposed to say Romans go home or something.
Oh yeah, because he mistranslates it.
Yeah, and the guy keeps correcting him. So by the morning, it's just covered in.
He told him he's like now that you got it right, you need to write it 100 times.
Yeah,
before sundown,
or you'll be in big trouble.
Yeah, it's
fun. And the what's it the anti Roman people. Where it's
the different rebellion.
Yeah, I just love the what have they done for us?
The aqueducts.
Yeah, there is that.
Sanitation.
Well, except for all that, what have they ever done for us?
All right, Scott. Would you buy, rent, or skip this?
Well, I decided to do this episode, so y'all know damn well it is a buy. This is a great movie if you're a Monty Python fan. Even if you're not and you just want a good laugh or to think a little bit or just really enjoy yourself, this is a great movie. The only thing I would say is if you're sensitive to any kind of joking with religion, I'd stay away from it. But
if it's if you are easily offended by like South Park and other Monty Python skits, maybe this isn't for you.
But if you're a little open to the idea, this is definitely a great place to start. It's not mean-spirited. It's a great, like I said, it's just great.
It reminds me a lot of Mel Brooks's the History of the World.
Yeah,
Part 1.
I could see that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say it's a buy as well. It's a great, fun satire. It's up there with like This Is Spinal Tap and all the Mel Brooks films. And it's not even my favorite Monty Python film.
That's right.
And that's what's so great about them.
And you get to see Graham Chapman's dick.
Yeah, you do.
You do. So I guess on that note, we'll call it a day.
Yeah.
Wrap her all up.
Yeah, so don't forget to
like
subscribe if you like the video and you like to get more of them. You can always leave a comment below. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. If there's, any favorite Monty Python sketches or any films that have the Pythons in it, because they ventured out in like the Yellowbeard and all kinds of other films. And definitely share the video if you like it. Spread the word. And I'm Joe.
And I'm Scott.
See you later.